This week for Dead Feb, you can fully customize the Togo wallet. You can choose whatever color of thread and whatever color of leather for each individual panel. And it's just a little promotion we do to keep things rolling here at the shop because January and February are so dead for us. So we do this little promotion to hopefully incentivize you guys to order some wallets. So check them out below. For the final episode of Barefoot February, I wanted to cover some more mainstream alternatives to the wacky world of barefoot footwear by covering some Nikes, some New Balances, and some Altras, because not everybody wants to go full on barefoot with zero support, zero squish underfoot, and feeling literally everything you step on. And some people want transitional shoes, and some people just want some of the attributes of a barefoot shoe without going full barefoot. So we're gonna cut these in half, run it through our tests, and see who reigns supreme in the mainstream alternatives to the barefoot world. So now let's go over the contenders, starting with the Nikes. So this is the Free RN 5.0 Next Nature. They weigh 6 ounces, they retail for $100, and they're made in Vietnam. And the way that they position the shoe is invite a sense of calm to join you on your run with the grounded look and feel of the Nike Free Run 5.0 Next Nature. And the supposed barefoot attributes are that it seems slightly wider than a regular Nike, not by a lot, but a little bit wider. Very flexible, the most flexible out of this whole lineup. And it seems to be a little bit on the thin side, but pretty close to an average sneaker. Next up is the New Balance. So this is the Minimus TR. They weigh 8 ounces. They retail for $140. They are made in Vietnam again. And the way that New Balance positions this shoe is whether you enjoy lifting weights or performing weekly HIIT workouts, our Minimus TR men's training shoe is a must-have for anyone who craves support and a lightweight feel. And its barefoot attributes are a wider toe box. You can see it's pretty wide, but it does come at a kind of a weird angle. It is pretty flexible, more flexible than most shoes, and it's very thin. It's the thinnest of the lineup on the sole construction. And then to the final contender, the Altras. So this is it is a mainstream brand, but it's a newer brand of the mainstream brands. It actually was started in my college town of Logan, Utah, and I met the CEO of Altra when I was in the Entrepreneurship Center, so slightly biased towards Altra. But the style is the Solstice XT2. They weigh 10 ounces. They retail for $130, and once again, made in Vietnam. And the way that Altra positions this shoe is the ultimate cross trainer built for all your workout needs and ready to get out on the road for a run. And its barefoot attributes are super wide toe box, the widest of the group. It has an average flexibility. It's still a little bit hard, but more flexible than a regular shoe. And it seems pretty thin through the sole construction. So now that you've met the contenders, the way that we're gonna do this is we're gonna put these mainstream alternatives through the barefoot shoe gauntlet. 3 tests of comfort, 3 tests of durability, 3 shoes cut in half, up to 3 points per test, but only 1 shoe can reign supreme in the barefoot shoe gauntlet. Starting with the comfort first, which is what almost every single barefoot shoe that we've covered is missing because it's part of the whole ethos of barefoot shoes where you don't want comfort, strength in your feet, but some of us like foam and some of us like comfort. So first, the thing that to me gives barefoot shoes their most comfort, it's how wide the toe box is. So if we rank these from least wide to most wide, the narrowest is the Nikes because it looks like a pretty normal shoe, but it is slightly wider. Next is the New Balances. Even though it is kind of an odd anatomical shape, it still is very wide. The big daddy winner, these Ultras are so stinking wide. Granted, these are a size 13 because it's the only pair I could get in this short amount of time, but they are ridiculously wide. So 3 points to Ultra, 2 points for New Balance, 1 point for Nike. Next, I wanted to test the foam through the outsole. So we did the bar drop test and ranking them from least response to most response. Once again, the Nike's at 6.5 because I think part of this is it's just all foam. There's no actual rubber in the outsole. You're walking on the actual foam. Next above that was the Ultras at 6.75 inches. And I think that little bit extra rebound is because you have rubber on the outsole. And the #1 winner, which was a surprise to me because it's the thinnest, is the New Balance at 7 inches. So this has a full rubber outsole and that foam, making it the most responsive underfoot while still being the thinnest, which is cool. And we did the Durometer test on the foams, ranking them from most dense to least dense, basically saying most firm underfoot to most squishy underfoot. Ultras at 25, the Nikes at 20s, which surprised me, and the New Balance, that foam in the midsole is only 15 short A, so it's very soft foam. So ranking the foam, that puts Nikes at 1 point, Ultras at 2 points, and New Balance at 3 points. And the final comfort aspect we're looking at is the flexibility, which I didn't really care as much about until this series and started wearing these shoes. And I was like, oh, I actually really like a flexible shoe for working out and like walking around. So least flexible, the Ultras. They're pretty stiff for a barefoot style shoe. Next, least flexible, New Balances. More flexible than the Ultras, but not, and more flexible than most shoes. but not ridiculously flexible like the Nikes. Because you have these relief cuts in this outsole and there's no rubber on top, this shoe is ridiculously flexible. Like, it's just as flexible as any of these barefoot shoes, but you have all that squish underneath your foot. So 3 points for Nike, 2 for New Balance, and 1 for Altra. And now to the 3 durability tests, starting with the upper, ranking these from least durable to most durable. The least durable is the Nike, just because it's a knit upper. There's really no overlays or reinforcements. I'm not saying it's not durable, but out of the bunch, it's the least durable. Then above that, you have the New Balances, similar to the Nikes, but a little bit stronger upper material. But you do have a couple overlays, and it's just a little bit more durable material. And then the most durable is the Ultras. These have the TPU overlays. It's got this little guard on the side. So none of these are really durable shoes, but durability matters because you spend a lot of money on some of these barefoot shoes and they just don't last as long inherently because of the design. So having that durability and comfort really matters to me from a value aspect. Next durability test is the eyelet pull test. The Nikes did not perform super great at 99 pounds, 86 pounds, and 62 pounds for the various types of eyelets. Next was the Ultras that had 105 and 57. So you could swap those around and average them out and make a case either way, but the winners were the New Balances at 159 pounds to pull through. So I'd have zero fears about the New Balances pulling through. And now to the final durability test, and maybe the most important because so many of these barefoot shoes have such thin outsoles, even though you spend $150 on them and they're higher quality, you still only have a certain amount of material to wear through before your shoes are shot. So we wanted to do an outsole puncture test to see which one is the most puncture resistant. The worst performer, no surprise, because it's just foam. These took 38 pounds to puncture through. The Ultras took 62 pounds and the New Balance won at 73 pounds. So 1 point for Nike, 2 points for Ultra, 3 points for New Balance. So now that we've done the preliminary tests and gather as much information as we can, let's cut these in half, see what's on the inside and how they're structured and built, give a few extra bonus rounds of scores, tally up the results and see who wins, and most importantly, how these rank on the WPS scale. All right, we got them cut in half. Let's see what's inside. So now that we can see what's on the inside, let's give a little bonus comfort round, because I get that feeling every single thing underneath your feet is part of the barefoot thing, but I just don't have the time to do the exercise. I don't care to strengthen my feet to a degree that I don't want comfort. Your boy wants comfort. So if we rank these on least foam to most foam, the New Balances have the least foam at 5 millimeters at the toe, 9 at the heel, and 11 at the arch. Next is the Ultras at basically 10 millimeters all the way across, making these a true zero drop shoe. And then the Nikes have the most foam and the most squish, but not zero drop at 10 millimeters at the toes and 16 millimeters at the heel. So 3 bonus comfort points for Nike, 2 for Ultras, and 1 for New Balance. And to give out a couple more bonus points, the bonus barefoot attribute with the most zero drop, Ultras, widest toe box, most zero drop, 2 points for New Balance by having the second widest toe box and the second least drop, and then 1 point for Nike for the narrowest toe box and the most drop. So if we tally up all the scores, who won the showdown? In last place, Nikes with 12 points. Ultras in second place with 18 points. And tie, actually, with New Balance and Ultras at 18 points each. So we gotta do a little tiebreaker. Gotta leave it up to the WPS scale. So how would I rank these? And also nobody's guessed correctly what the WPS scale stands for. I would say the ugliest shoe of the lineup with 1 point, making it a duck, the Ultras. Even though they're an alumni to their city, they're just kind of ugly. but they're not clown. They're just a little duckish. Next, I would put, with 2 points, the New Balance double wide surprise, because they're surprisingly wide. They do a really good job of hiding it while still maintaining a lot of width, but it is a little bit narrower than the Ultras and regular wide toe box barefoot shoes. And for 3 points, the only shoe that I would consider like a decent, normal looking shoe, putting in the cool category, the Nikes for 3 points. So if we retally the scores and see who really wins and reigns supreme in the barefoot shoe mainstream gauntlet, not Nike, because they only got 15 points. So it's between the Ultras and New Balances, and the New Balances just barely squeaked it out with 20 total points, just putting it above the 19 points of the Ultras, making them the winner of this episode. And these New Balances might be the best barefoot shoe for anyone who wants a lot of the barefoot attributes, but they want a little more comfort underfoot, and they want that big name reputation and brand, and they do look a little bit better than most barefoot shoes. But the Nikes are nothing to sleep on because they're the most comfortable out of the bunch. They are the least durable, but they're also the most normal looking. They just look like a normal sneaker. And then the Ultras are the truest barefoot shoe while still having a little bit of comfort underfoot because it's truly a zero drop, super wide toe box, pretty durable, decently priced, decently flexible, and it's gonna feel a lot like the rest of the barefoot shoes, but with more comfort underfoot. So to the final thing, this was a comment, I don't know how we never thought about this, but the WWWW, what would Weston wear? If I only could choose one of these shoes, I would choose the New Balances. I think they balance everything really well. They look half decent, they're comfortable, they're wide, they're squishy underfoot, but not super squishy. Out of all these shoes, I would actually buy a pair of New Balances. But also, anyone could go either way. Like there's a good argument to be made, and I think each of these shoes fit a certain category within this sub-genre of like mainstream alternatives to barefoot shoes. And I don't think any of them really performed poorly. They all just have different purposes. So let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, support it and go watch all the other barefoot shoe videos because it's a super niche style of content and it could use your guys' support. And I just like doing it because I've quite literally, like I mentioned in this video, I've already changed a lot of how I view my footwear, and I've found things that I really like about barefoot shoes that I'm looking for in other shoes. And so this series was really insightful. But next is Arch March, where we're gonna cut apart a lot of the high arch support shoes and boots and really try to figure out if barefoot shoes are better for you or if the high arch shoes are better for you, because they both make the exact same claims coming from different ends of the spectrum. And that's why this whole series has been so interesting to me. So thank you guys so much for your support. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, because that's how we end up being able to afford to buy 3 brand new pairs of shoes and cut them in half and hope that we recoup the money. So thank you guys. See ya.